When I first started to sell on Amazon, I was completely lost. I had just quit my job as a detective and I needed to make something work fast. So I started to hustle in any way that I knew how on the platform. I started to run in and out of retail stores, hitting up clearance aisles, just trying to find some products that I could flip and make some money. And I'd go home and I hit up their retail websites. Then sometimes I'd contact countless suppliers, hoping they would open up an account with me and sell me some products. And I was doing all of this while communicating with a supplier overseas who was going to manufacture these snoring mouth guards that I thought were going to be a hit and they were going to make me a ton of money. And when all of these products finally became available for sale, the results pretty much spoke for themselves. Prices tanked. Products were sold at a loss. Thousands of suppliers told me no, they didn't want to work with me. And that private label product that I found, Amazon ended up restricting it. And when I got it back, it didn't sell. It didn't sell hardly anything. All I knew at the time was that things were not looking good and I needed to make some changes fast or this business wasn't going to work out for me. Then we fast forward a couple months, I made some key changes in my business. And then I quickly hit my first 10K month and my first 50K month and my first 90K month. Then we fast forward a little bit more and I really seemed to crack the code because everybody that I was working with, all of my clients, they were getting massive results. Clients like Rick, who hit his first 100K month after only selling on the platform for a year. Clients like Svetlana, who hit 157K in a single month after selling on the platform for 11 months. Clients like James, who hit 615K in 11 months. And I want to show you how to do the exact same thing in this video. In this video, I want to show you how to get ahead of 99% of people in your Amazon FBA business in the next 6 months. And here's my guarantee. I guarantee that if you watch this video from beginning to end and you implement everything that I say with a massive work ethic, you will hit your first 10K month on Amazon in the next 3 to 6 months at bare minimum. Some people, if they really take the information I'm going to give you in this video and they really implement, they're going to dwarf those numbers. But that's my bare minimum guarantee. The reason I'm so confident is because it's exactly what I do with my business. Not only that, it's exactly what I told hundreds of clients to do in their business, which then led to them having success on the platform. All I ask in return is that if you find some value in this video, like the video, subscribe, and then share it with somebody who can find it beneficial as well. But let's get into the video. The first thing that you need to do is that you need to create your roadmap, your ideal blueprint of where you would like to go with this business. Now, the reason this is so important is because you want to avoid what I did in the beginning, which I think a lot of people do in the beginning. You're trying to go 10 different directions all at the same time, trying to maximize all of the opportunities out there, and it leads to you getting nowhere very quickly. Let's say you're playing a round of golf. You know exactly where you're starting, and you know exactly where you need to get to. You know there's a hole at the end of this field with a flag on it, and the objective is to get your ball into that hole with as few swings as possible. But now let's say you go to a massive empty field and you know you need to get your ball into a hole that's somewhere in this field, and you show up and you just start hitting it all over the place, hoping for the best, hoping you're going to get closer and closer to your target. But you have no idea what that target even looks like, where it is, or how you're going to get there. Without a clear path, you're more susceptible to veering off the path because we have no clear focus. We have no clarity in our process. And that's exactly what we're trying to get with step number 1, which is creating your roadmap. The roadmap to your ideal business, not what everyone on social media is telling you that you need to build and this is how you do it and everyone should be striving for this thing. What is your ideal business that you want to run that's going to enhance your life? So this is going to include, how do you want to sell on the platform? Do you want to do arbitrage, retail or online arbitrage, where you're running in and out of stores or looking on their websites, finding products, sending them to yourself or Prep Center or Amazon, and then making them available for sale? That's definitely a valid way of doing things on the platform, and that's how I sold my first couple of products as well. Or do you want to do wholesale, where you're working with distributors or brands or both to get products at a wholesale price, shipping them to Amazon directly or shipping them to your Prep Center, and then making them available for sale? Or do you want to do private label, which is actually what I think beginners should stay away from? It is incredibly complex. There's a lot more money involved and there's a lot more risk involved as well. But if that's what you want to do, you needed to make that decision in the very beginning. But also, what does your ideal operation look like? Do you have a big warehouse? Do you have employees? Do you have VAs? Do you have a small team? Do you have a big team? Or are you more of a solopreneur? Do you prep in-house? Do you have a prep center, multiple prep centers? Do you have Amazon Prep? What do those things look like? Next, what kind of products do you want to sell? Do you want to sell anything under the sun? Or do you want to kind of niche down and focus on a handful of categories? Also, what kind of suppliers do you want to work with? Do you want to work with distributors who have an abundance of brands, an abundance of categories? Or do you want to work with smaller brands, small to mid-sized brands that you can have more of a relationship with. Regardless of what you decide for your business and what you're striving for, you need to have a rough idea. It doesn't need to be exact and concrete. It's a rough idea that you're going to reiterate as time goes on and you get more experience on the platform. And again, I can't stress this enough. You need to be honest with yourself. What do I actually want? Do I want a big warehouse? If you do, awesome. Props to you. If you don't feel bad about it. That's not at all what I personally want. The last thing that I want out of this business is a massive warehouse with a ton of employees. I want freedom and flexibility to spend time with my family, go on vacations, do all of these different things, and still have a business and an income that I can grow over time. But you need to be honest with what you're going to do, because if you're not, you're going to be all over the place. And it's going to lead to a lot of overwhelm. It's going to lead to overthinking. It's going to lead to shiny object syndrome. And it's going to lead to a lot of people just giving up and saying this doesn't work. So this is a very, very important step in my opinion. Now, step number 2, we need to search for the blue oceans. The blue oceans being categories, brands, and niches that are not super popular. The typical path of a new seller is that they hear about selling on Amazon and they hear about selling all of these massive brands, Nike, Lego, toys. So what do they instinctually do? They instinctually rush these categories that are already flooded with sellers. Let me ask you a question. When's the last time that you've heard of somebody who is killing it in the arts and crafts category? Probably never. But that's exactly what my clients did, Leo and Pauline, and they focused solely on the arts and crafts category in the beginning. And they quickly shot up to 30K because they took the time to look in an area that not everyone was looking into. And it's exactly what I did in my business as well. In the beginning, I tried to go exactly where everyone else was going because I thought that's where the money was. So after a couple of months of having no success and making little to no progress, I started to look into different categories like phone accessories. I literally remember somebody in a video back in the day saying that phone accessories had no money to be made. It was a waste of time to look into that category. But after a couple of months of making no progress, I started to dive really deep into that category and I made so much money in the process. I made so much money selling phone cases, screen protectors, chargers, phone accessories for your car, phone accessories for your office, for your house. There was a ton of money to be made because these products were cheap, they were lightweight, and they were selling for a premium on Amazon. But if I would have just kept doing the same thing that everyone else was doing, even though I had the proof in my hands that it wasn't working, it would have been significantly harder to make progress. Look for the blue oceans. Don't be afraid to go against what everyone else is doing, because chances are if you really commit and you start diving deep into a lot of these other categories that no one talks about, there's massive opportunity on the table that no one's even looking for. Because when I was in that phone accessories category, the competition was incredibly low compared to all of these other categories that everyone focuses on. Step number 3, having an ungating strategy. All right, now let's say you found a couple of those blue ocean categories, brands, or niches that you want to focus on. I don't think you should focus on every single category. Be open to selling anything and everything if it pops up, if an opportunity presents itself. But I think when you niche down and you focus on a handful of categories, you're able to spot more opportunity than the average person who's just kind of glancing by these categories. So this is going to be very important when you have an ungating strategy. So because you're focusing on a handful of categories, through your product research, you're going to start seeing a lot of the same products popping up over and over again that you're not allowed to sell in. This is known as being gated on the platform. So you can do one of two things. You can either wait, sell the things that you can sell, and then hope that you get auto-ungated down the road, or you can pay to get ungated. Now, the first option, waiting to get auto-ungated, I don't recommend this, especially if you see a brand that's constantly popping up that has a lot of opportunity. The reason is because we don't know for sure when you're going to get ungated. A lot of people have theories. It could be in 6 months, it could be in 12 months, it could be after selling a couple of units. Nobody knows. Some brands and categories never get auto-ungated. But let's say you take that route. You focus just on what you can sell and you don't have an ungating strategy. Well, after selling on the platform for 6 to 12 months, you can finally sell brand X. Or you have an ungating strategy. You set aside, let's say $100, and you ungate in that exact same brand. Well, now you have 6 to 12 months of selling that brand that you wouldn't have had if you would have stuck to the original strategy of waiting to get auto-ungated. And in that same process, now you've made it tens of thousands of dollars in profit because most people are not going to take the time to get ungated and pay to get ungated in that specific brand. But since you did, now you have significantly more opportunity than somebody else just starting out. It's just a game of opportunity, and you want to increase your chances of opportunity. If I had two people in front of me, person A and person B, and person A A, I said, hey, you can sell anything that you can find profitably in one store. And then I look at person B and I told them, you can sell anything that you find profitably in 50 stores. Obviously, one is going to have the advantage. And that is what this ungating strategy is increasing your advantage over all of the other new sellers that are not going to take the time to learn these things, and definitely not going to take the time to actually watch this video from beginning to end. An ungating strategy is such an easy way to set up that barrier of entry from you and all of the other new sellers who are not going to take the time to do it. But this is something I highly recommend. This is definitely something I took advantage of in the very beginning. Why would I wait 12 months and hope I'm going to get auto ungated, and maybe in the end still have to pay to get ungated anyway? But I also lost all of that opportunity that I could have had if I would have had an ungating strategy in the beginning. Very, very important. With that being said, a little caveat is don't go crazy on this. A lot of people, they go crazy on ungating, try to engage every category, every brand, and then they forget that most important piece, which is finding profitable products that are going to make your business grow. And if you're not too familiar with the ungating process, what it is and what things are gated and what things aren't, I actually made this video just for you that you can check out after this video. I'll leave it linked down below in the description, where I go over absolutely everything that you need to learn about ungating. Step number 4, sourcing strategies. In my course, I have 13 different supplier search methods that I offer my clients. And in this new update that I'm working on, when it's released, we'll have about 20 different supplier search methods, maybe a few more, that they will have access to. I don't expect every client to use 20 different supplier search methods, but what I do expect is for them to get a handful that work really well for them, and then just put massive effort into those handful of supplier search methods that make their workflow more efficient. These are just tools. Having more tools is great, but if you get too overwhelmed by having too much information, it's actually going to slow you down. There's a saying in business that you probably heard before: simple scales, fancy fails, right? If we have too many ways of doing things, we're going to be too overwhelmed by all of these different options that we have, which is going to lead to more indecision. It's going to lead to more procrastination as well, because now you're like, well, should I do this? Should I do that? Oh, now I'm kind of overwhelmed. So let me kind of distract myself with a YouTube video. Let me kind of distract myself on the phone. Keep it simple. Have 2 to 3 ways of looking for products or ways of looking for suppliers, and then just put massive effort into those, and you're going to make massive progress. And if you don't know how to find suppliers for your business, if you want to get into wholesale, I actually made this video just for you that you can check out, where I show you a couple methods to help you get started. Step number 5, product research. The most important skill that you can develop in this business is the ability to consistently find and purchase profitable products to sell on the platform. And the only way you develop this skill is through reps. Repetition is strength. And a lot of new sellers completely forget about this. You need to learn how to evaluate a keeper graph so that you know that what you're buying is going to work out. It's going to make you some money. It's not going to tank, or the risk is very, very low. A lot of new sellers are way too eager to sell on the platform. So they come in with that over eagerness when they're doing product research, and they just want to sell anything because they just want to see the numbers go up. So this leads to them buying products that are not the best because they're not doing the adequate amount of product research because they don't know yet. So this leads them to buying products that were on a price spike, ignoring how the amount of sellers on the listing, that maybe there were a ton coming in and that price is going to go down. Maybe they ignored that Amazon completely dominates that listing, or maybe they don't even have the Keepa software, so they don't even have the slightest clue of how to do product research, and they're just hoping for the best. When new sellers do these things, that leads them to saying that Amazon's oversaturated, Amazon doesn't work, blah, 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 blah. But they just really didn't take the time to learn the process. Analyze 1,000 products in the next 2 to 4 weeks, and I guarantee you will be levels above everyone else who is just trying to get started on the platform. But most people will be overwhelmed by what I just said. Overwhelmed by analyzing 1,000 products on the platform. How am I supposed to do that? How am I even supposed to find 1,000 products? It is very, very easy to analyze 1,000 products in the next 2 to 4 weeks. It's very, very easy to do so. You gotta realize that the barriers of entry on Amazon, I don't think are very significant, but for the average seller, anything is a barrier of entry. So if you just have any level of grit and tenacity, you can outlast all of these people that claim that they want to start a business. If you want an in-depth guide on how to read the Keeper graph, I made this video just for you right here, where I show you exactly how to do product research so you find profitable products consistently and you avoid those tanked listings that are going to lose you money. I'll leave that video in the description as well. Now, step number 6 is by far the most important, and if we're talking about speeding up your learning curve and actually finding success in a shorter amount of time, it's the best thing that you could possibly do, which is finding a mentor. Now, you can either take a course, you can find somebody who works with people one-on-one like myself, which I just opened up again, or you can find somebody on YouTube that you resonate with, that you vibe with, that you like their teaching style, and then learn from them. But it's very important, don't learn from everybody. If you get caught up in the trap of trying to watch every video from every single person out there, it's just a clever way of procrastinating. and you need to focus on taking action more than just consuming more content. But the reason this is so important is because why would you take 12 months to learn something that you can learn in 3 from someone who has already done it? Someone who's going to show you all the costly mistakes that they already made and help you avoid them completely. Why would you take that longer path? Because if you think about it, the investment that you're going to make into hiring a mentor is going to be less than what you're going to lose on the opportunity cost of you not having that knowledge throughout a 12-month period. Why would you do that? All of these things that I'm showing you on this list, I'm assuming that you're finding them valuable. I'm assuming that somebody's going to take what I say in this video and actually implement and have success. But these things took me months to learn, lost me a lot of money, thousands of dollars that they've lost me to learn these hard lessons. Wouldn't it be faster and easier and smarter to just go and be able to have somebody at your disposal who already knows the answers to these things that can speed up your learning curve? So find somebody that you resonate with, that you can learn from, because I guarantee this is the best investment that you can make into yourself and into your business. Again, I just opened up my one-on-one coaching again for a very, very limited time. For those of you that are serious and want to work with me one-on-one, you can check out the first link in the description. You literally have access to me completely via Messenger at any time of day to help you along your path to creating this business. That's how a lot of my biggest sellers started out, is working with me directly, and then their business just absolutely skyrocketed. So if you want to work with me one-on-one, not group coaching, nothing like that, check out that first link in the description. If you don't, maybe you'll find some value from the hundreds of videos that I've posted on YouTube, or maybe somebody else's YouTube channel that you may resonate with a little bit more. But this is a very, very crucial step in your process. Now, step number 7, the final step, is probably one of the more important things that you really need to take to heart, and that is eliminating the noise and embracing the work. In the start, you're going to need to learn the business, obviously. You're going to need to learn how to do product research. You're going to need to learn how to find suppliers. You're going to need to learn what kind of categories you want to focus on. You're going to need to learn how to get ungated, how to list a product, how to ship a product, how to prep a product. There is no getting around this learning curve. Those first few months will be a lot of work. You need to embrace the season that you're in. Don't be so quick to automate everything when you haven't even built a foundation. Most new sellers, they don't need to worry about a prep center. They don't need to worry about every single software on the platform. They don't need to worry about what kind of printer they're using, what kind of monitor they're using. They don't need to worry about any of these things that are all distractions in the beginning. The only thing that they need to worry about is, how do I find profitable products? A prep center isn't going to help you if you can't find a profitable product. A team of VAs isn't going to help you if you can't find a profitable product for yourself. The best printer on the market, the best software on the market, the best monitors on the market, they aren't going to help you if you can't find a profitable product. And that is what you need to focus on first. That is how you build your foundation. Most new sellers, I would recommend you do absolutely everything in the start. You do the product research, you do the prep, you print the labels, you do everything yourself in the very beginning, because then it's going to make your foundation even stronger. So you need to embrace the season that you're in. You need to really make the decision that you will do what is required of you to build this business. If you can make that decision, all of that noise, all of those distractions, all of those shiny objects, and all of these opportunities and all of these other places, they're going to fall off, because you've made this decision. You have drawn a hard line in the sand that you will do what is required of you to get you one step closer to the life that you want. Most people never make this decision. So they're always being able to get pulled in all of these different directions because they haven't made this declaration with themselves that you will do what is required, regardless of work, regardless of struggle, regardless of how much sleep you get, regardless of how tired you are, no matter what. You will do what is required of you to build this business. And if you can make that decision, you can eliminate the noise and you can embrace the season that you're in. There is nothing that can stop you in this business, because this business is just the business of endurance. That's all Amazon is. Amazon is not super complicated. It is an incredibly simple business, but it is the business of endurance. Can you look for more products? Can you search for more suppliers? Can you work harder on your business on the areas that need your attention the most, where other people are just gonna fall off because they can't consistently keep showing up? If you can endure longer than the man next to you, you will always win, no matter what. In this business, in life, you will always win if you have more endurance, if you can suffer a little bit longer. Embrace the season that you're in, because it's not going to be forever. You're going to get more efficient. Your processes are going to get better. You're going to end up hiring VAs. You're going to have all your prep dialed in. You're going to have all your buying dialed in. Everything is going to get significantly more efficient and easier, but it doesn't need to be that in the very very beginning. In the very beginning, you need to turn your money over as fast as possible and give you opportunities that most people are not seeing, because now they have to take into account prep cost when they barely even know how to find products. Embrace the season that you're in and you will make this work. That is it for this video, guys. If you did find it helpful, I'd appreciate it if you liked, commented down below, subscribed to the channel, and shared it with somebody who could benefit from it as well. If you guys have any videos that you guys want me to talk about, any questions that you want me to answer, any questions that you have about what we just talked about and the whole process that I just shared with you, leave them down below in the comment section. Like I said, I guarantee that if you watched until the end and you actually wholeheartedly implement everything that I said with a massive work ethic, there is no way that you won't hit your first 10K in sales in a single month. You just have to implement and take action on the things that you actually want. I'll see you guys in the next video.